the busiest travel day of the year. You wait and see what happens here. You wait and see how long the delays are. I want to be interested to see how many people miss their flights, miss their connections. I want to see how over the top the inspections are. Because you read this Atlantic piece, it's clear from the Atlantic piece that the agents were more or less instructed to try to scare people back to the scanner. Let me read more from there. By the way, well, you know who this is and what we do. So, hi. Several TSA officers, this is a quote now, several TSA officers heard me choose the pat-down, and they reacted in a way meant to make the ordinary passenger feel very badly about his decision. One officer said to a colleague who was obviously going to be assigned to me, "Get new gloves, man, you're going to need them where you're going." The agent snapped on his blue gloves and patiently explained exactly where he was going to touch me. "I'm going to run my hands up your thighs. I'm going to feel your buttocks. I'm going to reach under you until I meet..." "Resistance?" I interrupted. "Yes, resistance. You want to go into a private room?" he asked. So they're trying to steer people into the naked scanners, where they're also playing their little games. Don't think for a moment those images are going to be deleted fully, and not. For example, you get some hunk of an athlete going through there who's maybe using steroids and therefore has a lot of shrinkage in the junk area. You think that picture's not going to be sent out for everybody to see? I don't care how you slice this. This is a police state. Whatever the intention is, and even if you are not subjected to an over-the-top pat-down, they're still taking your belt off and your shoes off, and they're still going through the violations of the Fourth Amendment, and they haven't captured a single terrorist. And what they're doing is not going to capture a terrorist, but they are irreparably, perhaps, harming the airline industry. This is Obama, folks. I mean, you could almost say that this is the regime taking steps to subject everyone to the notion of a police state. Here's what it's going to be. Get used to it. This is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be in America. One thing that leads me to believe here that the Atlantic story has some truth to it. Yesterday on CBS Slay the Nation, host Bob Schieffer interviewed Hillary, who, according to James Carville, if she gave up one gonad to Obama, would still have more than he does. Carville said that. And he said, if you're offended, I'm not sorry, and I'm not apologizing. So there's Hillary on there. Bob Schieffer says there's a big uproar in the country now about this new pat-downs. They're going on as people try to get on airplanes. Do you think it's necessary in the war against terrorism, or should we take another look at this?
We're doing this because the terrorists keep getting more creative about what they do to hide explosives and, crazy things like underwear. So clearly there is a need. Now, if there is a way to limit the number of people who are going to be put through surveillance, that's something that I'm sure can be considered. But everybody's trying to do the right thing.
Okay.
And I understand how difficult it is and how offensive it must be for the people who are going through it.
And then Schieffer said this.
But would you submit to one of these pat-downs?
Not if I could avoid it. No, I mean, who would?
Okay, that sound is the sound made by the Arkansas broadbeam. It's a living organism out there. But there you have Mrs. Clinton saying, "Oh, I wouldn't go through it." No, I'm not if I didn't have to. If I could avoid it, no, I would. If I could avoid it, how do you avoid it? There's the scanner. If I could avoid it, I wouldn't go through it. Well, no, I wouldn't want to see the scanner, but don't. That truly is distracting, Mr. Snerdley, and I really don't want to be distracted here. What happens here? If I were the terrorists and I'm looking at this, I can see them sitting over there in the cave laughing themselves silly. They send a guy over here with ostensibly a bomb in the underwear, and now look what we're doing. We're searching everybody's underwear. They send a bomb over here in somebody's breast. Now we're making women take their prosthetic breasts out for examination. If I were the terrorists and knowing how they feel about women, the next terrorist would be a female Tampax bomber. Can you imagine what the Transportation Safety or Administration or whatever would do if we captured somebody trying to get a bomb here in a Tampax? If I'm Ayman al-Zawahiri, whoever these guys are, I'm having fun looking at all the commotion that they're causing, and the assault on the airline industry that they're causing. And now you have Mrs. Clinton saying, "Oh, well, I wouldn't go through it if I didn't have to." And then in Portugal, President Obama stood by no controversial screening measures Saturday, calling methods such as pat-downs and body scans necessary to assure airline safety. Speaking at a NATO press conference, the president called the balance between protecting travelers' rights and their security a tough situation. Now, what is that story on that? We're going to have to stand on one shoe to do this now? They call a balance between protecting travelers' rights and so I guess we have to stand on one shoe now, be properly balanced as they go through the searches. Gloria Allred, Friday night on Hannity on the Fox News Channel. Question: did they touch your body parts?
Yeah, they did. It was the first time anybody touched them in a long time, and frankly, I liked it.
So there's Gloria Allred admitting it's been a long time since anybody touched her body parts and that she liked it. So there are people willing to make light of this. People willing to joke about it. Last Saturday, Saturday Night Live did a skit. We have a woman and 3 TSA workers in the skit.
Feeling lonely this holiday season? Looking for a little human interaction? Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
And you never know who your agent will be. It could be me. Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take out the damn shoe.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
All right, so they're joking about it out there now on Saturday Night Live. Gloria Allred joking about it. Last Wednesday on Capitol Hill during a Senate Commerce, Science, Transportation Committee oversight hearing on the Transportation Security Administration, Administrator John Pistol said this about the procedures.
Do I understand the sensitivities of people? Yes. If you're asking, am I going to change the policies? No.
No. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you react. We are not going to change our policies. Now, imagine if the Gitmo interrogators had done these kind of pat-downs to newly arriving terrorists. Imagine, wait till those terrorists told their lawyers at the ACLU what happened to them. If the Gitmo people were going through all this, you think the Koran in a toilet was a bad thing to have? Wait, can you imagine what would have happened if Gitmo detainees had to go through this? And here is Obama from Saturday in Lisbon, in Portugal, at the NATO summit.
I understand people's frustrations, and what I've said to the TSA is that you have to constantly refine and measure whether what we're doing is the only way to assure the American people's safety. And you also have to think through, are there ways of doing it that are less intrusive? But at this point, TSA, in consultation with our counterterrorism experts, have indicated to me that the procedures that they've been putting in place are the only ones right now that they consider to be effective against the kind of threat that we saw in the Christmas Day bomb.
So that's why all this is being done. Did you ever ask yourself, did this stuff just sort of pop out of the blue? A couple of weeks ago, we started getting these stories. All the invasive pat-downs. What happened? The Christmas Day bomber was a year ago. So what happened here? Didn't it all start after the election? Does that mean anything? I don't know. But what was the catalyst for this? Can anybody tell me? I was minding my own business, not bothering anybody. All of a sudden, I'm reading stories about this. Every day this stuff starts happening. And there's usually a catalyst. And I don't, maybe there was, and I just wasn't paying attention, but that's very, very rare that something gets by me. Here's a montage. ABC's Brian Ross in Good Morning America today reporting on the new TSA screening procedures, and it's Brian Ross defending in Capitano.
This is the 10th time in the U.S. and in Europe where security officials privately admit they are scrambling to stop an expected terror attack of some kind somewhere soon. From the airport Patdowns in this country to a search for 2 suicide bombers believed to be at large now in Germany. U.S. law enforcement officials say the twisted ingenuity of the al-Qaeda bomb makers is a good part of the reason U.S. passengers are now getting pat-downs, that they are using materials in their bombs that cannot be detected by all the expensive screening machines currently in place.
Okay, so that's it. They got a couple terrorists on the loose out there and trying to catch them. Oh, okay. So on Meet the Press, David Gregory talked to Bobby Jindal, governor of Louisiana. He said, TSA, these airport screeners, some of these searches, really disturbing people around the country. Is this excessive?
It feels too much from this administration like we're playing a defensive game in the war on terrorism. Yes, we need to harden our infrastructure, but if you have a committed terrorist who's willing to give up their lives, you look at the past pattern. We got lucky with the bomb in Times Square. We got lucky with the cargo packages. We got lucky with the underwear bomber that the devices didn't go off. Luck is not a strategy. We need to be rooting out these networks. We need to be killing these terrorists. I think the American people are worried when they see an administration worried about reading Miranda rights to the underwear bomber. They worry when they see an administration committed to civilian trials. They wonder, you're so worried about the rights of the terrorists. What about the rights of the innocent American traveler?
Bingo.